So finally be able to acknowledge yourself and to have language for what you've been carrying, that is a very beautiful thing. A hard thing, but beautiful thing, because now you can see her clearly. You know she is there. You've called her by her name, and now it's time to actually take care of her. You did the work of seeing yourself. Now the question is, will you show up for what you found? Self-neglect for me didn't always look the way people expect it to look. It looked like my appearance. I dressed how I felt a lot. And a lot of the times, how I felt was ugly. So that's what I showed the world. I identified more with my negative emotions than anything else. What I felt on the inside was what I put on the outside. Like, you was going to see it. And I didn't even realize that was a form of self-abandonment. It also looked like being in spaces in relationship that slowly tore away from myself, environments that had nothing to do with who I actually was. And I stayed, y'all. I stayed because I didn't know I deserved better at the time. A lot of that came from what I watched growing up. My mom most definitely put everything else, everyone else, anything before her. And without anyone saying a word, I learned, like, that is what you do. You be selfless. You hold it together. You pour out. And somewhere in that, I inherited the belief that putting myself was a bad thing to do. It wasn't right. It was not like godly or anything like that. That needing things was selfish, but that is the trap. That is a generational one. We watch our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties give, pour everything that they have. And we take that on as if that is the blueprint, but we forget that we are human too. When you don't have a sense of self, when you have no boundaries, when you're endlessly giving, people will see it. And some of them will use it. A good person without an identity, without limits, without self, it leaves you open. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to watch people like take so much from me and give me nothing in return. And a lot of times I would ask myself, why would someone treat me this way? Every time the answer will always be a reflection of me. The answer was never about them. It was always about me not deciding yet that I deserve to be protected by myself first. I got to a point where I looked at myself and made a decision. Either let these people and these patterns run me to the ground, or I become something to myself. I refuse to look in the mirror years from now and not be able to recognize who was looking back. That was the moment I decided that I deserve to be nurtured, that I deserve to be poured into, that I need to have boundaries. I need to get a better self-perception of myself. Nurturance and self-care are not the same thing, and the world has been putting them in the same box for way too fucking long. Self-care is external. It is TLC, the face mask, the day off, and there is nothing wrong with that, baby. We all love a little bit of self-care, but it lives on the outside. Nurturance is the soul work. It is internal. It's everything happening inside of you. The way you speak to yourself, the way you see yourself, the standards you hold for what you will and won't accept in your life. One thing I had to unlearn was I used to feel like I had to earn the right to nurture myself. Like nurturance was a reward. Oh, I had a bad day. Okay, girl, go nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Did all the work. Okay, you deserve it. Go nurture yourself. But that is not what nurturance is. Nurturance is not the prize at the end of somebody's fucking rainbow. It is the foundation everything else is built on. It is an everyday practice, even on the days when nothing terrible is happening, even on days when nothing remarkable is happening, even on days when nothing beautiful is happening. Just a regular Tuesday, you still deserve it. You still need it. It doesn't require a reason. That's the difference. Self-care is what you do to yourself. Nurturance is what you are to yourself. From a survival mindset, something you've operated for years, nurturance feels strange. Survival keeps you in like this warrior mode. And it's like telling someone who has trained their whole life for battle that there is no more battles to fight. It is understanding that the version of you that you're becoming doesn't even have a front line anymore, just a baseline. And that baseline is nurturance. We get so used to being everything to everyone, aspect in life and nothing to ourselves. So when Nurturance shows up and say, hey girl, it's your turn, we look at it like, who sent you? Why are you here? We look at it suspiciously, like it's a trap. So many times I wanted to run back to what kept me safe, back to that warrior mode, back to the familiar chaos, because nobody told me leaving that version of yourself behind comes with a lot of grief. But grief is something that I'm learning now is a huge part of life. I hope I'm saying that right. Grief is a huge part of life. We just don't name it as a part of life because it doesn't always look like loss in the way we're taught to recognize it. It looks like outgrowing people, letting go of versions of ourselves, realizing something you wanted isn't what you thought it was. It shows up in endings that don't get funerals. You go through all of it. Denial. Okay, I'm fine. I don't need to slow down. I can keep going. I can keep pushing. Like, baby, I'm strong. Anger. Why did I have to become a warrior in the first place? Why was I not protected? And this is where I find myself a lot of times because, like, I'll be on my healing shit and I'll be like, okay, I'm pouring into myself. And then I get to a moment where, why the fuck do I have to do all this healing in the first place? And then you come down to, like, the bargaining. Maybe I could keep one foot in survival mode just in case, just until I feel safe enough. And then you hit depression. The quiet that comes when the chaos stops and you don't know who you are without it. The emptiness that survival was actually feeling. A lot of times I feel myself creating scenarios where I need to survive. And I have to catch myself like, you know what? I'm not in that state anymore. I am safe. And it feels depressing a lot of times because I have to pull myself back and then I have to reflect on, like, look at myself creating a scenario where I have to survive, where I'm being tested, where I'm in, like, I don't want to say like in a chaotic situation. Like, look at my nervous system, like, creating that type of scenario. And I have to really, like, tell myself or my nervous system, like, I am safe. I am safe to thrive in life. I am safe to do so many things. And that's where acceptance come in, because she served her purpose. The warrior got you here, and here is safe enough to put the armor down. My nervous system had become so used to, like, that battle, that being on the front line. I'm ready for everything. I'm finna curse this bitch out. All that type of stuff. That anything outside of it felt like a threat, like it was danger, like it was chaotic, like this is not for me. Even the moments that were so, like, beautiful, moments that didn't require me to be on the front lines, even when it was meant for me to rest, even moments where I'm so, like settled in life. That's the hardest part of nurturance nobody talks about. It doesn't always feel like relief at first. Sometimes it feels like danger because your body doesn't know the difference between rest and risk. So today's practice is the identity inventory. It is the practice of rebuilding your dictionary of self, getting reacquainted with yourself, with who you actually are, separate from who you were taught to be. What do I actually know about myself, separate from what I was taught, what was expected, and what I learned to perform. Sit with that. Take your time. Don't rush. Don't beat yourself up. Take your time. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to grab a journal. And you're going to answer these questions. Pause if you need to, but answer these questions. This is not a worksheet to complete. This is a conversation with yourself. All these videos I make are not for you to be like, well, all the things that I make, the PDF prompts or the guides, the videos I make are being created for you to have an open conversation with yourself. It is not homework. It is not a worksheet. It's not a checklist to create or manage. This is you being honest with yourself and having an honest conversation with you. So the first question is, what do I actually enjoy? Not what looks good, not what makes other people comfortable, but what do I actually enjoy? Not what looks good, not what makes other people comfortable, but what generally brings me joy, makes me the happiest when nobody is watching. That is question number 1. Question number 2, what do I need to feel safe emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, in all aspects. You can do relationships, friendships, family dynamics, your own personal relationship with yourself. Does not matter. Third question, what do I love about myself? Not what I am good at, not what people compliment me on, but what do I actually love about who I am? What do I love about me? What parts of me did I shrink because they were too much for someone else? What have I been told I am that never actually felt true? As you write, notice what comes easy and what makes you pause. The pause is the practice. The pause is the information. The blank space is the information. Where you hesitate is exactly where the work is. And if you want to go deeper, my Nurture It guide is a 7-day guide I created for this week's video. It goes over the steps, practice, implementing them. It goes over the steps that we are going to practice that are going to be implemented into our journey of healing. It is on my Gumroad account. Link is in the description down below. But to close and end this video, we have spent this entire series seeing ourselves, naming ourselves, and now nurturing ourselves. You have spent this entire series seeing yourself, naming yourself, and now you're nurturing yourself. This is not some small little thing. I want you to understand the importance of you actually making it here to nurture and pour into yourself. That is not basic. That is not small. That is a big thing, especially when you come from environments where this is not a thing. Nurturing is one of the hardest things a person can do. You notice what was there, you name what you found, and now you are learning to love what you uncovered. Even the parts that are still healing, parts that are still sensitive to touch, still figuring themselves out. This is what building a relationship with yourself actually looks like. It is a consistent everyday practice. Every single day, on a regular Tuesday, regular Monday, Sunday, hell, Friday. On the hard days, on the days when you feel like the warrior is creeping back, you put that armor down, and underneath it, she was there the whole time. That is who we have been becoming this entire time. It's her. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tune into next week's video. Ciao.